Welcome to the Will and Dave Show for December the 12th. As you can see, I don't have the Will of the Will and Dave Show. He had some obligations this weekend that precluded him, but luckily I am just a small part of a great family, and I have some friends to join me, and they're all members of my family, which makes them awesome. Every once in a while, you're going to see a very small member of our family, and his name is Berlioz, and he wanders in and out of this screen. And the reason he does that is because Susan's going to be here, and he loves Susan. He is like a puppy dog around her. So he's going to wander in every now and then as well. But before we go any further, let's play our intro tune.
Welcome to the Will and Dave Show.
So we won't have much of a content advisory this week because we are going to be talking about Christmas movies. And there's only one on the list that I know of that has any language that we probably wouldn't advise you listen to, but it's a Christmas movie anyway, so we'll get there. We just want to say to you guys that we are glad to have you here this weekend. And without further ado, I want to introduce our show sponsorship, or our show sponsor, Stitched by Susan. And you're going to get to see her here in a second. But I just want to say that I spent a day and a half with her on the lake in a cabin, and we had a wonderful time. I love this lady. I really do. And she's an amazing quilter. And she is the sponsor of our show. So without further ado, let me get to the next scene. Hey, Susan, how's it going?
Hey, good. This is so fun to be on tonight as a family and have a little chat about our family favorite movies of years gone by.
I love our family. You are the show sponsor, Susan, and one of the things that you do is you are the one who provides the software that we do this with.
Right.
And what do we use that for?
Well, obviously you use it for this podcast, and you and I both do YouTube demos, presentations anyways. And so because I began first, I went and got the equipment first. But yes, I am a quilter, and if any of you watching are quilt makers or interested in quilting, Stitched by Susan is my business name, and I have a YouTube channel of my own. You're welcome to come over and have a look-see.
And we're going to bring in the family, Allison and Austin Antles. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Dave. It's a real honor to be here. Appreciate it.
If only I knew you actually meant that, but the fact that I roped you in the last minute, Austin.
Hey, if there's anything people need to know is I love being on screen, so I am very honored.
And talking.
You are on Twitch, aren't you, Austin, or are you on other platforms?
I'm on every platform. You name it.
What's your handle?
Twitch,
How do they find you?
Real Antles, because I'm not fake. Like the Will and Dave Show, it's all about authenticity and being real. So you can find me at the Real Antles on all media: Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Weibo, WeChat.
Aye. So which
I don't
one's
know
your
what,
favorite?
I can't think of anything else.
Which one's your favorite?
I like Reddit most of the time for my stuff, but that is not something that most people would understand probably. It's more of a forums thing, but like Twitch and TikTok are good stuff.
Okay.
For the younger generation, I guess, because there's a lot of stupid memes that make no sense.
Well, I'm old and I don't understand most of them, so I get that part. And Allison, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Other than the fact you're my daughter.
Allison, and I'm David and Susan's daughter. Not just Dave's, but Sue's as well. Okay. We've been married just over a year to this lovely TikTok famous gentleman over here. And we're actually really excited to be here. I've kind of avoided being on the show up to this point because I wanted Dad and Will to do their own thing and really find their own ground. But we're really excited to be here and get to be part of it finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you may notice it's Allison's voice that does the introduction
Yes, it
each
is.
week.
It does. Yeah. We were just sitting there recording other things, I feel like. And then we started talking about it and we started messing around with the music, and then we were like, well, what would the words be? So we just did a couple takes of me saying the words, and then Dad decided without telling me that was going to be it. And I was going to
Welcome to the Will and Dave Show.
That's you.
Yep.
Yeah, the resemblance. It's uncanny.
So I will say that Allison, when she gets her nose in something, she is a perfectionist. And when we did that,
I thought you were going to say it turns really brown.
no, we did that a fair number of times. Okay, maybe I need to go back and redo our content advisory.
Maybe. I just always think back to you telling me one time that when I was on a phone call with like internet or somebody, you were like, wow, you are brown nosing like crazy. And it's always stuck with me. You taught me that. You should know that.
Yes, but I didn't say it on YouTube for all to hear, you see.
What?
I guess I never taught you that part.
Right. You
I
forgot
guess
to
I
say that
never
part.
read the rules and stipulations of being on the show either. I just assumed as family. I had
There-
free reign.
There are no rules and absolutely no stipulations. It is the Will and Dave show after all. There are not a lot of rules and there are not a lot of stipulations. So the point of the show tonight is our favorite Christmas movies and what we like and what we do not like about them. And originally this was going to be the Smith family Christmas movie review night. But we have Austin, so we get to hear a few about Austin's family as well because he came into our family or we came into his, and so now we get a lot more movie reviews.
And
from
as
the
you
Austin
can see
side.
from the picture behind us, there's more to the family, but
Yes.
those that didn't come tonight don't get to mention their favorites. It's all about our favorites.
So this is a number of years ago, and we hiked way up to the top of a mountain, and we got a picture up on this high peak in the Rocky Mountains. And this has been it's a family favorite, actually. So without further ado, how about the first movie, Allison? I don't know which one is the first one. Oh, it's mine. It's Jack
Surprise.
Frost.
You're throwing the ball to me, but I'm pretty sure this is
Yeah,
your favorite.
This is mine. I couldn't
You're the one
remember.
who wants to
Take
talk
that
about
back.
it. I'm going to throw it right back at you. Have fun.
I could have looked at it over here, but then I couldn't look at the camera, and I'm really working on looking at the camera. So I love the movie Jack Frost. It's one of my all-time favorites, mainly because it's about a dad who wants to make sure his son has an amazing Christmas. And I'm a fan of Michael Keaton. I thought he was an amazing Batman, and he makes an absolutely amazing snowman as well. And so, Allison, I wonder if you have any memories of this movie, as it wasn't a regular in our family.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always wished I had a snowman friend whose arms worked like windmills and could throw like 50 snowballs a second. I mean, that
So
would
true.
have really come in handy. Not that I was bullied a lot, but just in case, would have been good to have as a backup. You know?
That's true. And Austin, have you ever seen this movie?
I've never seen it.
I'm thinking it's much
But
more
I
our
love Michael
generation.
Keaton.
Was he a good Batman or a bad Batman?
I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
That's a loaded question.
On to the next one. Moving on. Home Alone. Allison, did you take this one?
Well, I think I wanted to talk about it. It is definitely one of my
Such a
all-time
favorite.
favorites. There's only, I think, one flaw in this entire film, and it's the fact that Kevin has to leave his mac and cheese dinner sitting out on the table all night. And you
Imagine.
can't eat that stuff hours later. Reheated, it's not the same. And so the fact that that craft dinner set out, and he'd done this whole table setting, and then they decided to crash his party. It's the only thing I would say.
I still love the music from this movie, though. Those particular versions of the songs that are in this show are my favorites all these years later. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, like that is my favorite version of it ever.
So I was waiting for William, if he was going to make it on this show this evening. He was going to do a bunch of the voices from those movie clips that he plays at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
For those bad guys, he plays all the clips, and he's not here, and I do not do voices, so you guys are just out of luck.
Missing out on that one.
I'm just trying to think of some of the words too.
Oh, like when
It's
they bring
like-
the keep the change, you filthy animal.
And there's
Yeah.
the Johnny
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. I don't remember the Johnny one.
I don't remember
How
them.
about
Too.
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10
Oh, yeah.
before I pump your guts full of lead.
Right, you got it.
That's right. That's right.
See, I think there's a lot more.
Hold on, go back.
We're already
This
done
is
with
going
it.
too
Oh
fast.
my goodness.
No,
Home
we're not done.
Alone, there's 5 different Home Alones, and I didn't
Oh,
even,
right.
I was just
I didn't even
gonna
get to
ask,
have an opinion. I guess I'm done. No, you know what? No.
how do the other Home Alones stand up to number one? Good, bad,
Oh,
or
they're
indifferent?
They're trash. There's only one Home
There's
Alone
only
because
one.
you only can be home alone. You can't be like if you're Home Alone again. That's just a marketing ploy to get another movie.
Exactly.
Well, see, I think if you're home alone once, it's okay. If you're home alone again, it's child abuse. Someone needs to call the authorities.
Your mother's
There you go.
neglecting you.
See, here's what I
Yeah.
want to ask.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to the Office podcast, and they talk a lot about how the Office kind of popularized this cringe television you watch and you're just cringing, like you can't look away because it's so bad. You have to see what happens. And I'm curious what you guys think was the worst trap, because I know a lot of these traps, like I could hardly watch.
Oh.
They looked so painful. They
Oh,
looked so just made your skin crawl.
Stepping on the nail for sure. Yeah, that was tough to watch.
So I don't have a cringe one, although I wondered how stupid is the bad guy have to be to grab a red hot handle, because it was obvious it was hot. Like I always look at the doorknob when I grab it. I do. I don't look up at the
Do you?
sky.
Do you really?
I do. I think.
We need to test this theory. Mom.
Yeah.
We need to put paint on the doorknob one day.
I'm on it.
And if Dad walks in with lime green hand,
I'm on it.
he wasn't looking.
We'll
when
test
he
this
grabbed
theory.
the doorknob.
I don't know, because wasn't he looking in the peephole, like at the time? Like he wasn't really like he was trying to focus to like see where the kid is, and he was kind of working his way to the door handle. So it wasn't like a usual. I'm gonna check. Like he was kind of being sneaky, being a little sneaky snake, and it just didn't work out. But my whole thing is, how do you even survive those traps? Like how many of those do you go through before you're just gone? Like the bowling ball,
The
Gallon
shock.
of paint to the
The shock.
forehead. I don't know.
yeah, just
Okay, the crowbar and the
flamethrower.
spider.
Yeah, like I would have been done after. I would have been done after the first try. I'm surprised and impressed by the tenacity of those men. That's what the true story is. It's about tenacity and the will to survive. And so, like a lot of
Maybe.
people think the Christmas is a survival film, 100%.
So
Here's another good question.
Yeah.
Which is a better bandit league name? The Wet Bandits or the Sticky Bandits?
Ooh, I think the Wet Bandits is better.
Probably the Wet Bandits.
yeah, like what?
I agree.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they were?
That's what they are in Home Alone 1, but in the second one in New York, he's always wearing like taped gloves, and so it sticks to things he steals.
Mm,
So they're Sticky Bandits.
Gotcha.
yeah, Wet Bandits. Rolls off the tongue better, for sure.
It does.
So I have to say that I'm not a fan of Macaulay Culkin, whatever his name is. Obviously, I'm not a fan, but he was really good in this movie.
He was.
He really was.
I liked him in Richie Rich too. He played the rich kid well.
Right. Yes.
Basically, we liked him as an 8-year-old. Pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even know who he really was, and I can't think of another movie besides Home Alone.
Well, I was just going to ask, has he done any movies since?
I don't think so. I think last I saw, he was actually an artist. He paints.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, way to go.
Okay, now are we ready to move on to the next movie, Allison?
Yeah,
No, it's Austin.
yeah, I'm ready. Yeah,
Well,
I'm ready
it
to
was
move
you
on.
that yelled at me, so I guess Austin yelled at me too.
I didn't. I had someone to back me up. Is what happened.
So why is
Oh.
this a Christmas movie?
So this is a spiritual Christmas movie,
It was released in
Where-
July.
but the movie did not take place in July, if you recall. This so the reason it's a Christmas movie is, one, you have aspects of Christmas. There are gifts. There
Isn't it a
are a
Christmas
lot
party?
of.
Isn't that where it starts?
It is. It takes place in, and the tower is in a Christmas party in what? Not
Nagasaki
Nagasaki.
building.
Yeah, Nagasaki Tower,
Mhm.
and it is a love story at the same time. It's he wants to see for the holidays. You know, there's his wife, and it just so happens there's a terrorist group that comes in. That's a subplot.
Oh, and her
to
name
the-
is
the
Holly. It
real
must be a
plot.
Christmas movie.
So the terrorist, so the terrorist
It's a
thing is a subplot.
It's a subplot where the real plot, it's a love story. See, people forget that the underlying aspect was he was coming to reclaim his wife, and it got messed up, and so it was really a story of how
Just a
can I
rabbit
get
trail.
her back from this tragedy. Yeah, and the terrorists were just unfortunate that they were there, but that's not the main plot. The main plot is Christmas, and if you remember, there's a lot of a mentioning of God in the movie.
There is.
There is, yes.
there is, and that is the time of the year, you know, and Christmas is
Oh,
about
okay.
that, about Jesus, and so that's why Die Hard is a Christmas film, 100%.
Die Hard, in my opinion, has some of the best bad guys ever.
Yes.
Several of
I
them.
agree.
Just so good. So good.
Oh, Die Hard probably has the best villain.
Yeah.
Of-
Well,
of
several
any
of them, though.
movie.
Several of the henchmen, too,
Oh.
were fabulous. But what about Die Hard-er? See, to me, that was even more of a Christmassy movie because it was, you know, set around a church and snowfall and all that sort of, you know, church
Yeah.
bells and things like that. How come that's not thought of as the Christmas movie?
Maybe because it sucked.
Wow.
Whoa,
Dad,
whoa,
that's
whoa,
fighting
whoa, now it
words.
didn't suck.
Wow.
I think it's just because I think you can't have Die Harder without Die Hard. And so it's like both of them are the Christmas, but you think of the original first. It's kind of like Home Alone and Home Alone 2. People, you always gravitate towards the first because the original's better. And
Yeah,
Die
except
Hard 2
Die
is
Hard 2
almost
was
like the
pretty
same
darn
story.
good. I thought. My opinion.
I don't think I've even seen it.
To be honest, I love all the Die Hards.
Yeah,
I don't,
exactly.
I don't think there's a single bad Die Hard in my opinion, but I love Bruce.
So you
Willis.
guys know how proud I am that my wife knows that there is a Die Harder. That just makes a husband's heart swell with pride.
I've been forced to watch it many times, so yeah, there's no ignoring it.
No. But the other thing is the reason why this also is a Christmas film and why they released it in July is because of the phrase Christmas in July. And so it's actually a nod or an homage, as some people say, or a
That's a
fromage in the
stretch.
culinary world.
That's a
Is
stretch.
he stretching?
You
That's a
always
big
got to
homage
stretch before the
stretch.
big race. You got-
You are stretching. Okay, so how about the stereotypical a policeman and donuts? What was his name? He starred in that movie, in the TV show with Urkel.
I don't remember.
Oh,
But the cop in the car
can't
who sort of partners up with McClane. Do you remember
yeah,
him?
I can't. No, I don't
can't
remember his name,
I
but
can see his face, but
but
Is it donuts or Twinkies he's eating?
no, it's donuts. It's
Donuts.
100% donuts because
Definitely
he's at the gas station, like saying he's on a break or he's on a call when in reality he's getting the donuts, and that's when he sees the tower,
Yeah.
the little flashes.
Right.
Because that's when they get the call that there was, or that's when McClane or he phones on the radio and everyone thinks it's false, and the cop finally sees it and
Yeah.
says, no, there's something going down.
So the black kid in the limo.
Great character.
One of my
Classic.
favorite characters in the movie. I mean,
Don't know his name either, poor fella, but yeah.
he
he's
was
fabulous.
amazing. Just sitting down there,
I don't know if you even know it.
just rapping out in the garage, and at the end, his
Just
one
oblivious.
scene when he drives through the gate. Awesome.
Yeah.
Truth.
And I think that's a proper representation of the youth. You know, they do their job right. He says wait, and what does he do? He waits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I
God.
can't remember the last time I told you to
Yeah.
wait and not
you
do
did it?
something, and they actually listened to me.
He's not youth anymore, Allison. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Classic.
So is this the classic? I saw this yesterday or day before. It was on eBay in the classic Christmas section. Is
Our
this a
blondes.
classic?
Oh yeah, I think it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
But in our house there was annually the argument, right, over like we always watch this one and we always watch the cartoon Grinch.
Yes, sir.
Which one are we going to watch first? So usually we ended
Which
up
I
watching one on New Year's Eve and
Yeah.
one on Christmas Eve and one on Christmas morning.
I think it finally settled around the fact that this one, of course, is much longer.
Yeah.
So we started watching it on Christmas Eve that night.
Yes.
You know, we'd open our pajama gift on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and then we'd watch this. And then on Christmas Day, we'd watch the 30-minute animated one.
And then
Just
go
made
on
more
to our
sense.
other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Ripping into the presents and stuff.
What's your favorite line from this movie, Allison?
Hate, hate, hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely. But the other one that I've been working on for a long time
Oh, yeah.
is, what's her name?
Martha?
The drama.
Martha.
Martha, yeah. Betty! Hi! My,
like that
what
one.
wonderful lights you have this year.
Yeah, I like it
This-
too.
Yeah, oh, she's just like, I love that whole scene.
The breathy.
And the cannon on the lights. Yes, her cannon light machine.
Yep.
I
want
watched
me
like
one
a
of
mini
those.
documentary once on how they filmed it, like in reverse,
Right.
right? Because it's
Right.
all just in reverse mode, and I love that whole part. But honestly, it's really hard to pick. I pick those because they're the ones I know, and they're the ones I quote in real life. I don't
See-
know why I tell people that I hate, 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 and double hate them, but it's just on my tongue all the time during the holidays.
It's such a good
It's,
line. It's such a good
It
line.
is.
So the one that I use fairly often because it's reminiscent is, I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an
Oh my
idiot.
God.
You're an
So
idiot.
good.
Yeah,
Some of the
Fabulous.
best lines. Yeah.
fabulous.
I think what makes this a classic, honestly, if I had to define it,
Yep.
is that even people nowadays, like on TikTok and stuff like that, people are still quoting it and making funny videos about it because these lines are so quotable and they grew up with them.
Right.
It's a classic.
And
like
they're so
they
good.
remember it and they keep reusing it over and over.
One has
Well,
to
that sounds
wonder.
like a.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, one has to wonder, working with Jim Carrey on the movie, how much of that was off the cuff, you know, just as
Yeah.
as they were producing the movie, and how much of it was pre-scripted, because he's just so unique in his humor, and I have to think that quite a few of those lines just sprang into life as they were producing that show.
You were saying, Austin?
I was just saying that's the whole thing about just Jim Carrey in general. Every film he's in is just quotable beyond belief. You got like Liar, you got Bruce Almighty,
Yep.
you got everything. It's just like if he's in it, you're quoting it.
Yeah.
True.
People love it. Like it can be just a stupid thing. Like my favorite line is when he's doing the mails, just jury, junk mail. And for some reason,
Blackmail.
I just love that. This is the dumbest thing. Like, why is the Grinch just like deciding? And you're just like, oh, when
You know what's funny? A testament to that, I think 3 times this last week at work, I was able to like crumple a piece of paper and I just went, look, a goose. And then like chucked it at someone and only one person got it. I did it,
Really?
I think at least
Oh,
3
man.
times. The truth is, so that line is actually a blooper. It's
Is
not
it?
in Liar Liar. It's not a part of the film.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The blooper.
Allison.
Yeah,
It's-
'cause he was
that's
just
funny.
they just have all these clips at the end,
That's
and
right,
so
too.
I think a lot of people who watched it on TV, like on satellite and cable, never saw it. Right? They never watched the bloopers.
Proving that it's worthwhile watching all the way through to the bloopers,
It is.
especially in a Jim Carrey movie. You've got to.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I
this is a
thought at
classic.
The Grinch, and the marriage of the faces of the Grinch and Jim Carrey, I thought was a match made in heaven. The smile and everything. And I'm wondering how much of the animation was using his face for that animation. As his face is so,
Mobile.
yeah, it's rubber.
Rubber.
Yeah.
In real life, much less
Yeah.
in a cartoon. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
what do
it
we
was
like
the
about the
perfect
original one?
Everything.
I always imagined having a nightgown that had an elastic at the ankles, so I could look like Cindy
And at
Lou
the
Who,
neck. And at
just
the
like
neck, too.
shuffle around, and you'd never see my toes.
And the
Or really
eyelashes.
anything that defined my body at all. I would just scooch around the house on the holidays. Be
It
great.
seems to me that you had a little nightgown, but it had a little granny kind of nightcap thingy that went with
Yes.
it. But that was kind of Cindy Hulu.
I always remember Megan and I fighting over sitting over the heater in the kitchen, and our nightgown would just around us.
It'd be like a
And
little,
then you'd
little
eventually
hot
come
air.
and boot us off
Yeah.
because nobody else was getting any heat. Like the kitchen didn't get any warmer. I mean,
Good times.
I like the feast at the end. I don't know why, but the feast at the end of the cartoon, like it just looks so good.
Yeah.
Like that big old wine lawn table, and I'm like, man, something about a cartoon, big old. What is it? What's the
roast beef.
The
Roast
roast
beef.
beef. Yeah, it's
Roast
And
just
how
beef.
perfectly
roast beef.
that first
It
cut
looks
fit
so
in the
good.
plate for Max, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it was the
So
perfect
good.
circle, and it
Yep.
just
So in this one, I love the narration is
What's his
it's a
name?
rich voice.
Boris
been
Karloff?
Boris Karloff.
Karloff, yeah.
And just an amazing voice. In the newer one, it's good as well with Anthony Hopkins, but there just is
There's something about this one.
something about the voice. in
Truly
this one.
classic. Yeah.
Ooh, I also love the candy cane moment when they're sleeping in their bed and he's like
Yes.
out the
Oh,
candy
yeah.
canes from their hands as they sleep, holding on to them.
Right. Right.
That was
Okay, so going back to this one, the cat that's in every house,
yes.
classic.
Yep.
So the horn on Mac's head,
The antlers.
the antlers.
Mhm.
Why did no animal cruelty people get up in arms about that? Because it was tied to him with string, and he had to pull that huge sleigh.
I don't think they were really around yet.
Does that apply to cartoons?
Either
Some
one.
of it.
It's the Will and Dave show. I have to ask at least a
Hard
few probing questions.
Yeah.
Controversial questions. Yeah, PETA wasn't around.
I don't know. What was the year of publication for these films?
Oh gosh.
I don't know. Do you want me to look it up?
I think this
I
one
think-
is
yeah.
the 80s, and I think the other one is the
Oh,
early
this one's
2000s.
older than the 80s. I'm pretty sure. The
You
cartoon.
think so?
Pretty sure.
I will look it up because
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Dad will look.
I don't think that one is older than the 80s. If anything, it's the late 70s. I know the other one's the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I ever told you this,
What?
but the year you bought it for us for Christmas,
Right?
we found it in the trunk at the end of your bed
Oh
and knew
no.
you'd gotten it for all of us.
Oh no.
And so it wasn't a surprise, but we all acted surprised.
Wow,
There
what a
was no
surprise.
secrets in our house. Do you remember while Dad's looking up information? The best non-secret Christmas was the one we had a ginormous box for Dad, all wrapped up in paper. And so we all come downstairs to the family room to open our gifts, and Will's like, "Let's let Dad open his toolbox first."
Oh my gosh, I don't remember him saying that.
Ah, good times.
1966.
There you go.
Austin.
Wow. I was way out there.
See,
It is
and I
classic.
feel like-
it's
I
more
feel like-
classic than I am, even.
I feel like PETA was a very 2010 kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like I feel like they kind of didn't really do much in the 2000s unless it was like very much, hey, this is a real life story and you're abusing it. But
And
it's
then-
like,
yeah.
it's a hoop, and it's a dog. Like,
I mean, look at the noses on those folks, really.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
But then when people started forgetting about him, that's when they got mad.
White Christmas.
Now we're dreaming of White
I've
Christmases.
been listening to the soundtrack at work at least
Have you?
once a week.
Isn't it good?
Yeah.
Yep.
So great.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
This is the one with the military, right?
It has the
Yes.
general, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not know this was that movie for the longest time because I had never finished it from start to end, and so I would only get different pieces. And so I thought this was like 4 different films for the
It
longest
kind
time
of
until I
is.
saw it like last year.
If
There
you
are
were to
different
watch them-
story threads, yes.
Yeah.
And like if you were to watch, I feel like the different musical numbers separate, not knowing they were together, you could think they were in 4 different films.
True.
Mhm.
Because they have these stage numbers that have nothing to do with the story, except for they have to do with the musical within the story,
Yes.
right? So
Yes. Okay, so did you notice, you can see it on the credits, that Rosemary Clooney, I think she's George Clooney's aunt, but certainly his family, which is kind of
Oh,
cool.
okay.
And I did not know that till last year. You know, I knew her face from seeing her in the movie, but I didn't kind of make the connection to
is
her name.
she the one on the right or the one in the middle?
She's the one, oh gosh, I can hardly see the face. She's Bing Crosby's opposite, so on the left.
On the
I
left?
think.
Okay.
I think.
Did-
I think.
Did you know that the one on the right, I don't know what her name is, I'm thinking it's Vera Allen. There was a lot of controversy when this came out because she was an alto and she could sing so low
Right.
that people thought that she was actually like mulatto and that in our ancestry that
Interesting.
there were black people and they were boycotting the film because this
Interesting.
is kind of in the middle of a civil rights movement
Wow.
and people didn't want to
I did not know that.
which I guess she's not. She does suffer from anorexia, like during the film.
Did know that.
A lot of her necks are up here, her necklines, because she
Mhm.
was so thin. But yeah,
Did know that. And for those watching, did you folks know that Bing Crosby is a local chap for us? He grew up in the Spokane area, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And yeah, there's memorabilia all over Spokane, not surprisingly, because he's one of the homeboys, really.
He is.
Very
So,
cool.
Allison, you have a connection to Mr. Danny Kaye.
yes.
Tenuous, but there.
It's a tenuous connection, except
Mom, don't crush my dreams.
Oh,
it
sorry.
comes with the 6 degrees of separation. And Tim, you're watching, so you will. I preach about this often. So my mother, I'm sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. So my mother, your grandmother, Allison, sang with Danny Kaye. And they went to a few after-show parties together.
Don't you know, he was just an amazing person to be around in real life. I just can't imagine.
I have always my like dream performance. Most people don't have these, I think, but I have like dream performances that I could get to
Right.
do someday. Would be Sisters with Megan, with the big fans. Sister,
Mhm.
sister.
Love that song.
That would be.
What's
so
it
fun.
from?
White Christmas.
Is it
White
from White Christmas? I
Yeah.
don't recognize it. I don't know.
We are staying on topic.
I thought maybe you were talking about one of the other Danny Kaye movies that we always used to watch, because there were a few that we watched of his.
It is from this one.
learned to shoot. I found a little horn and I learned to toot. Now I can toot and shoot. Ain't that
What was that? What was that other Danny? Was
The
it
court
that?
jester.
The
That's
court
what it was.
jester.
That-
Oh,
Court
that was
jester.
great.
Yeah.
That was a great.
Great movie, but not Christmas movie. So
What was the other
Not
one
sure I have
that
it
he was
tonight.
in that you all watched all the time?
General.
The Inspector General. Yes. Yes.
Jacob's Alexa. That's good for you and me. Hi.
Uh,
I'm very breath. Hi.
so
Yes,
so
every time.
in our family, we have sometimes had dinner and made the entire conversation only movie quotes, and you can see how that's very possible listening to Allison. It's ridiculous. I'm the only person that was left silent because I can never think of them on demand.
Do
But
you even need Will on the
Yeah.
show? I can do it. I can do voices. No,
we
no,
love
no.
having Will
I'm
on the
retracting
show.
we do.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you don't know the quotes, dear. I just love the fact that you know there's a Die Harder. I love it.
You're still stuck on that. Still dying hard. Huh.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Never seen it.
See, this one is a classic, but I have not seen it terribly often either. So I don't know that it
I don't
was
think it's that
a
good.
classic to our family. Yeah.
Maureen O'Hara. John Payne. I don't know. I've never seen it. It's not in my list of things that.
She's a classic. Maureen O'Hara is. She did Gone with the Wind, and that's all that comes to mind right now.
Yeah, so we don't have much to say about that one.
See,
That's
I
all-
think
that's all
this
I
one
have
was
to
a
say
creeper.
about that.
Like this one just felt creepy. Like they made Santa feel kind of like weird. Like they were going for Santa's a real person vibe, and at the end you're like, oh, it was really Santa. But I don't know. The whole time you get, I don't know.
I don't know. It
Might have to
just has
watch it
never been
again,
one of my
just to see.
favorites.
Thumbs down. Here's a good one.
Okay.
This is
Okay, this is 80s, Allison, with a
This-
vengeance.
yeah, it is.
This movie with Bill Murray, I watch it almost every Christmas. The one-liners in this again are some of the best, but the scene that I go to every time, I fast forward to find it, is when the fairy or the angel or whatever, when she decks him with the toaster, when she just ups and uppercuts him with the toaster, and that to me,
So funny.
just all-time favorite shot.
It is a
It's how I
movie worth
sometimes think
watching.
People perceive me is like as a nice fairy and cute and nice and sweet. But then when I get down to business, I start like decking people with toasters and like clocking them because at one point she does punch him, right?
Oh yeah.
As well, like
Slaps him.
smacks him in the face.
You name
Yep.
it. Yep.
And I think that if I were looking up to anyone as a role model in life,
She'd be
it
it.
is the second ghost, the ghost of Christmas's past, right?
I think so.
His future.
I think it's future. I think past is first.
She's the
Yeah.
guide through all of them, though.
We better watch the movie
No,
again.
there's the
We don't
taxi
know.
driver.
That's right, the taxi driver. Right. So she is past.
But Yeah, she's
she's the
first.
past, yes.
There you go.
He's future.
Yes.
Oh no, present. And then future is the creepy one.
So the other one in there that I love is Zek, the guy from the police academies, the guy they fire with the funny voice.
I'm clueless.
Oh,
no, I remember the story
I
plot,
can't
but
do
think of the
voices. I
person.
can't do voices. He's
I
got
don't
that
blame.
voice from Police Academy.
The one who did all the sound effects in Police Academy?
No.
That one?
No, he has that high,
Hmm.
sort of screamy voice.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name either.
So he plays the guy who comes in at Scrooge at the end with the shotgun.
Right. He's the
Yeah.
And
crazy
he's
guy
going
that
to shoot
comes
him.
in
and
at the end.
He's got
Yeah,
that
yeah,
funny
yeah.
voice.
I just don't know who it is.
Gilbert Gottfried.
either.
You seen that film?
No.
He is not in this film, but he would be.
He does have a funny
I
voice,
wish he
but
was in
no.
that
He
film.
was the understudy.
Yes.
Speaking of Gilbert Godfrey, and you got me going on this, and it's the Will and Dave show, so I can go there. For those of you who want a little bit off-color humor,
What does this have to do with Christmas movies?
head to YouTube and watch Gilbert Godfrey read 50 Shades of Grey.
We are way off topic now.
He started with Gilbert Godfrey, dear. I just had to put that out.
I knew it. You
Well,
gotta
it-
go there when you can.
If
It-
we go down every rabbit trail.
It'll either ruin
It
your
will
day or
change
make
your
your day.
life.
One of the
It'll
two.
change your life.
It will bring you Christmas cheer. Like that's how good it is.
Probably true. Probably true.
So Tim, I see you're watching. So go to YouTube after the show. Of course, I don't want you to leave the show and watch Gilbert Godfrey read 50 Shades of Grey. You'll love it. So in Scrooge, I don't know if you remember the scene in the elevator when he opens the cloak.
Yes.
Do you remember that one? And it just opens up and he has a view into hell.
Yes.
I love that scene. That's one of my favorite in that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
It's a good movie.
It's a great
Good
movie.
movie.
It's a Wonderful Life.
See, this is another one I have not seen often. I know the story,
Yeah.
and I've seen it dramatized lots of times, but have I seen the movie very often? Don't think so.
I just had in my memories come up Nehemiah Morgan's recording of us singing this
Right.
at church,
Yeah.
Yes.
our solo.
Speaking
We were
of
in It's a Wonderful
dramatic
Life.
productions.
At the
Yep.
church, yeah. It's like
It's a
a
Wonderful Life.
golden holiday.
Yes.
Is that It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
I thought it
Yes,
was the
it is.
Gospel
Oh,
according to
no.
Scrooge.
No,
Austin's right.
that's right. It was Gospel according to Scrooge. You're right.
Hmm.
I
We
was
never
never-
did it. I was
You
never
did.
in it.
I thought you did this one the year before.
No, I was not in It's a Wonderful Life. That's when I. Oh wait. Yes, I was in It's a Wonderful Life. I was
You were one of the college friends, weren't you?
yeah, the guy who was all about plastics. I can't remember
Yes.
Okay.
his
It's coming back
buddy.
to me now.
Right.
Obviously, I have not seen this many times either and don't remember the story.
Clearly.
And it is not what I would call a Christmas classic just because I've never really seen it.
It's a sad story. It's
Yeah.
actually really
It's a very
dark.
sad
It is.
story. But I'll tell you what, and this is bringing it around a little bit again into present, is I think we as Americans and Canadians, and really in the global economy, not the global economy, that's the wrong word.
Social?
Whoever's alive today, does that paint a broad enough brush?
That's pretty broad.
You'd remember that there is hope, and that is the point of this movie, is there is hope. So no matter how
Beyond
bad
sadness.
it seems, there is hope.
Yeah.
Even for whatever his name is,
George Bailey, wasn't it?
for George
Better.
Bailey, for James Stewart. Yes. I love his voice, by the way. His voice is another one of these. It's so good. So good. Yes. Are you arguing? Are you agreeing?
No, I was agreeing because I feel like It's a Wonderful Life was one of those first ones that was the first like knock against like consumerism, really, and capitalism, where it's really about George Bailey, who at the beginning was like, hey, I'm all about the community and helping out, and as it goes through, he gets older and he gets this job, and then it's about saving the bank, and you see how the corporations during Christmas time are taken out, and at the end he comes
Right.
through and realizes it's about the community, it's about giving back, and that's when the community rallies through. And so it is a story of hope. It's also a story of don't let materialistic things get in the way of
Right.
the true meaning of Christmas.
Always a good Christmas message.
Always a good one. Have we ever seen this one, Allison?
I think we watched it last Christmas.
I think you're right, but I do not remember it.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I would say that there were funny
Old
moments,
age is creeping up on us.
but it's just not one that I quote or that I really was like, oh yeah, I could watch this over and over again. Granted, part of what makes the other Grinches so special is I have only ever seen them on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Like, there was just kind of this family law. I think there was a law early on when we were little kids that we didn't even ask to watch them during the rest of the year. Because it was a cardinal sin
Oh,
to watch the
it would
Grinch any day.
It would rub the
Yes.
special off if you
Exactly,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right.
this just doesn't have that same touch of like tradition and almost like it's not sacrilege, but like sacred,
Right.
like feeling to it. So
Well, so the voice in this is good. It's Cumberbatch. Excuse me. But I'm not a fan. In this show, I'm not a fan.
I'm a fan of him as Sherlock,
Excuse me.
but it's not as memorable a voice as
Right.
Jim Carrey or Boris Karloff. That's for sure.
We have a suggestion, guys. And we should have had this one on the list.
Yep. True
Austin
story.
wanted to talk about this one.
Okay,
this
Austin.
was
Bring
probably
it on.
This was probably my favorite Christmas film. Just
Have you ever seen it, Mom? Okay.
I've never seen it.
Just Chevy Chase.
You should, if you need a good laugh. Like, it is old fashioned and
Oh,
but
my.
hilarious.
You
Yeah, it is.
The Griswolds are just. I love one of my favorite scenes is just right in the beginning where they're talking about the bonuses and he's meeting up with his boss, and as they're all leaving, he's just, thank you, Merry Christmas, yeah. And as it gets down the line, and his boss can's just, hey, kiss my ass, yeah, I don't need you, bye, see ya, and just, and it's just such a Chevy, just a Griswold thing, and with the lights and everything, and just it's a true story of Christmas, how men really feel. It's like, hey, the family's coming. It's just like, are you kidding me? And then he's got the lights focusing, and then it finally goes and it blinds the neighbors as they're trying to figure out what to do. And it's because they can't figure it out. And then she's just flicking the lights on in the garage, and it's just, oh my god,
It is
cousin
funny.
Eddie. Oh,
Is it Cousin Eddie or Uncle Eddie? It's Cousin Eddie, right?
it's Cousin Eddie
It's Cousin
because he visits him in Vegas for just.
Okay, and don't they drive one of the station wagon sort of panel cars? I don't even know what the term is for them.
Yes.
But I think that's from the vacation one.
No. So they have the station wagon in both because when they go to leave for Christmas shopping, Griswold gets stuck up in the attic, and he tries to like knock, and the family goes and they just load that station wagon up, and then he just sits there and watches the family movies and is just crying. And I think it's like in his grandmother's robe or one of the kids' robe, and it's just like a little tight pink thing or something. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's old-fashioned enough, Allison, that it's becoming classic again. Because I recently started a quilt that actually has that station wagon shape in it, with the two contrasting, well, in my case, fabrics. But it used to be the wood panel. Anyway.
Yeah.
Side note.
So
Since
you
I am
know
a
you
sponsor.
have made it when. Hold on.
Oh, Dad's finding something here.
You know you've made it when there are figurines about you on eBay.
That's funny. Truly funny.
I don't even know if the Grinch has this with Jim Carrey. I know there are Grinch figurines, but I don't know if Jim Carrey is one on eBay.
We have a Grinch church, which I'm not wearing tomorrow.
Oh man, come on.
No, I'm gonna be a nice, cute Christmas caroler.
So are there more Christmas movies? Because
So Austin,
Oh.
are there any in your family?
the family truckster, Tim says.
I wanted to bring up 4 Christmases. 'cause
So-
that's
so
like
there's-
ours too.
There's like we obviously the classics, but there's some that our family loves, like A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story. Who's in that?
I don't remember who the actors are. That's the one where he wants the Rough Rider. Was it the Rough Rider BB gun for Christmas? And the line is, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid."
Yes.
And you have "Dog Dare You,"
I think I've
and
seen
then the
it.
dad gets his leg lamp, and it's like, fragile, must be French, and
Fragile?
it's-
Is that a Key and Peele line?
well, Key and Peele stole it from A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay.
A Christmas Story is what, 19?
Yep.
I don't know,
It's old.
76 or something like that. Oh,
I think we can safely say that the Christmas movie that has crossed family borders essentially was 4 Christmases, because we watched it last year, remember? With
Yes.
Vince Vaughn
and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
And that's where they travel to all the different families' houses. What's your favorite line when he's talking about his wife?
I'm not gonna quote that one.
Oh, come
It's a
on.
great-
Oh, come on. It's the Will and Dave show. I did the content advisory.
Okay. So one of my favorite, it's God, who's the?
It's the dad.
Yeah, I can't remember his actor. Anyway, so he's going to his dad's house, and they're up there getting the satellite, and he's basically like, "You know what, son? I don't mean to talk ill on your mother on Christmas, but she ain't nothing but a common street whore." And Vince Vaughn's just like, "Wow, Dad, way to show some restraint." And he goes, "Well, what do you call a woman that throws her entire life away to chase some career?" And you, "Dad, Mom was a cashier. That's not a career. That's categorized as a job."
Oh gosh.
That was one of the first films. I feel like most people's classic films leave a bad taste in other people's mouths. They're classic to someone because they watched them since they were a kid and they feel so special. And then
Right.
I watch it at like 20 or whatever, and I'm like, this isn't that funny. Doesn't make any sense. That was a film that your family hyped up, and it lived up to the hype.
Well,
I was like, this
It's
is
just
great.
it's so cheesy, so campy, and it's my dad and I's sense of humor.
It is.
So we're busting up laughing the whole entire time when they recreate the birth of Jesus. Like, we're just dying because they're just throwing Jesus superstar quotes half the time, and so it's just so good.
Or I think the line that we quote the most is when they're playing Taboo, and he doesn't want to like change the.
Oh
there's the
yeah,
little,
John
time
Favreau.
glass, and he just goes, flip the tube.
He's just mowing on some wings.
And we just say that all the time.
Yeah, that's what I say anytime someone keeps talking, and I just want them to stop. Just flip.
Or
the
we're playing
tube.
any game like Monopoly and they're not taking their turn and we're just like flip the tube.
Moving on.
Go.
But
Take
I
your
think
turn.
you hit on it, Allison. The big thing about Christmas movies and what makes them a favorite or not is nostalgia. Like it truly is. The ones that you watched a bajillion times when you were a kid, those are the ones you love best. And it's
I
hard
think
to top
another
them.
reason the new Grinch stands up so well is I feel like you don't have to have seen it since you were 5 years old to love it. You could watch it now at 20, and I think it still has such great humor, such great lines.
I do think
It
that.
really,
I don't think there's very many movies that hold to that high of a standard. My opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Any other Christmas movies, Austin, in your family?
Actually, my family and we've always been huge, and I still am. It's a guilty pleasure. Hallmark Christmas films are my absolute favorite thing because they're the same plot every single time.
Pretty much.
And so it doesn't matter when you come in, you can leave to go do something. You can play a game with the family, come back. You've already known what's happening halfway through the film, and it's great. And you're always hooked. I don't know how it happens, but it could be on, boom, instantly. I'm like, wait, okay, so she's in love with him, but he left her, and then he got the kid a gift, but it's the wrong gift. And then the boss came in and says she's on a crunch line and a deadline. Can't you do it before Christmas? Oh, he's gonna help her out because he's a 5-star Michelin chef. And then
the same plot every time.
Yep.
And so we love it. Yeah, that's kind of our thing. Other than that, like Christmas films, I don't know if we have like any traditional Christmas films. Hey, we watch this every Christmas. We'll just watch. We love all Christmas films. We just love films in general.
FYI, if you need to get into the decorating frame of mind, I have been watching Mr. Christmas, which is a new Netflix series, which is really, really fun. It's way over the top decorating, but it kind of gets you going, and it's just lots of bells and snowflakes and glitter.
I feel like starting to make it a Christmas tradition to watch the Dairy Girls Great British Baking Show episode.
Okay, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah.
So much holiday cheer, so many laughs and good times.
I
we
do
didn't
like
put that on our list, Allison. The Christmas master classes, they're right up there.
Yeah, we did one year. We just had them going in the background. I feel like around Christmas when we were at the house.
Yeah. So
I actually really like some of the Christmas TV show series, like the Office Christmas episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I love.
The gift exchange one is
the gift exchange one is so good.
Okay, so you're into West Wing. So did you enjoy all their Christmas episodes?
I don't think we've even gotten to one yet.
There were 3 or 4 in the series.
One. Yeah,
we just got to Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, you got a ways to go. Yes. Isn't it leaving Netflix or is it staying on for a while?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
But you own them all.
I do.
Truth.
Yes.
I do.
That's what I told Austin when he said to me one evening. He was like, we have to start watching all West Wing. No other shows on ever because we have to get through as much as we can. And I looked at him and I went, my dad owns every season. Like, there's no rush.
I do own them. I hope I still have them. I might have sold them, but I think I still have them.
Why would you ever do that?
Of course, you need a DVD player.
I'll look. I might have saved them.
Our PlayStations actually play DVD because they're Blu-ray, aren't they?
I think they're half and half.
Yeah, don't think they all are.
Here's one I wanted to ask you guys. And so there are Christmas movies, and then there are Christmas movies. And the one that we watched a number of years ago was To the Polar Express with Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Christmas movie. Yeah.
But it never really hooked with our family.
It was good, but I can't say it was memorable.
Oh. My family loves The Polar Express.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle quotes it all the time. That's like his favorite movie of all time. And so every single time he comes in here, the first gift of Christmas. And I remember,
is that Uncle Tom?
Yeah, that's Uncle Tom. And actually, The Polar Express was one of the first IMAX films I saw with my dad.
Interesting.
And that was really cool.
Also, as we're nearing the end, I want to bring up what Mom brought up earlier in the day, the idea that Miracle with Kurt Russell is a Christmas
It's
film.
not Christmas.
I don't think it's
Austin.
a Christmas film. It's just
What?
for me. Christmas used to be a time of the year when I would sit and watch movies, and that was a great time to sit. And I love that movie. It's a winter movie. It's a feel-good story. So I associate
great
it with Christmas time for that reason. But it really
That
has
makes sense.
nothing to do with Christmas.
Well, if
but-
that's the case, what's the movie with John Candy, bobsled team? It has snow.
oh yeah, Cool Runnings.
Is that a Christmas movie?
Uncle Buck.
See,
Uncle
I think
Buck
that I
has
would
snow?
Buck, the Great Outdoors. Let's go
is
down the John
feel-good
Candy
movies.
road.
Okay,
Which
so
tend to pop up more during the holidays. You have
True.
time, right, to watch all the feel-good movies
Yep.
that you can really sink, like just curl up and watch
Underdog
for 2 hours.
finishes well. That sort of stuff. Yep.
Was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
I was
that
just
him
going
trying to get
there.
home?
It was
Wasn't he trying to get
Thanksgiving.
home?
It was
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Although I think
Close.
they at the end at the end of the movie, if I remember right, it had a thing for Christmas too, a reunion or something. I can't
Oh.
remember.
You know what other film has a great Christmas ending? I think The Green Book with Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, that was a
Haven't
The
great
film
one.
ends
I
at
haven't seen
Christmas.
I haven't seen
Oh,
Oh, that's a great
Okay.
highly
film. That
recommend
is one.
that one.
It's on our
Oh,
list for
Great
this year.
it. Interesting. I will have to
That
add
is
that to
one of
the
the best films.
It has Viggo Mortensen and then one of our favorite comedians, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh, I love Sebastian. Yes.
Yeah, so he plays such a great character. You hardly see him, but every moment he's on screen, you're so just involved in him, and you just think that he's a
Interesting.
great character. You're rooting for him. It's great.
Cool.
So
That
have
is
any
a
of
great story.
have you watched or Mom watched the Christmas with Kurt Russell? Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles. Nope.
Have any of you
haven't
watched
seen
it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's supposed to be good. Again, I have never watched it. It's supposed to be actually really good, but I've never made it to my list.
When did it come out?
The first one was in 18, then the new one is this year. So a
I
few
hadn't
years.
even heard of it until this year. I just saw some ads for it or trailers the other day. That's the first that I knew of it.
Well, we have been on air for an hour, and I was going to say thank you to Allison, but she's gone.
Oh, here she
peace out.
comes.
There she is. Hey, Allison, we're going to wrap up.
Whole time.
I just want to say thank you to you and Austin and Susan, my lovely wife, for joining the Will and Dave show this evening for our Smith Family Christmas review. We will be back next week. I was about to say next year.
Almost.
We will be back next week at the same time. And if you're watching this on the replay or live, Tim, right at the bottom corner, right over there, there's a subscribe button. Would you hit that subscribe? It really helps with the YouTube algorithms. It makes us famous, and we will get lots and lots of money. Yeah, no, not really. We just would really like you to know if we do more content, and we'd really like that. So if you could do that, and if you hit the bell icon, it'll let you know when we do add more stuff. So until next week, it has been real. Thank you all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.